Hello and welcome to On the Other Hoof, the second video we've done tonight. Day 3 of Royal Ascot is over and Day 4 is ahead of us. But looking back to Day 3, we had a few strong vibes last night about the Great War. Not from us, but the Great War disappointed in a way. And we were sort of questioning the O'Brien form, weren't we? But then he answered that in no particular manner with Bracelet and Leading Light that I'm sure one of our members took very nicely to, Adam.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
We have to congratulate you for having the first anti-post nap winner.
Thank you. Well, I did say though, admittedly in the video, I did say it was a boring selection because I just thought he was bomb-proof in the race at that time. Admittedly, I'm gonna admit I don't think he actually saw out 2.5 miles. I just think his class has got him through today.
That's exactly what I said straight afterwards.
Yeah, his class has got. He's a very good horse. His class has got him through that. I don't think he'd win another Ascot Gold Cup. I don't think he's another Yates. I think that'd be stupid. Although he could come back next year, but I probably want to take him on if there is a stronger stayer in the race. I thought Estimate ran a screamer. Miss United given a great ride, and Brown Panther. I think he was probably the best horse in the race. He's just not got home after not settling.
Yeah, I think he needs to learn to settle over that trip.
Yeah, definitely. But I thought he's run an absolute screamer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm very happy.
from last night's video, we also tried to set up the On the Other Hoof double, which
Jesus.
almost came off.
We did our part.
Yeah, me and Mike held up our side of the bargain.
Yeah, we're the favourite.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
Well done, lads.
He was 5-2 though at the time.
Yeah.
Good, fair point. Ours was 11-1 at the time, and he's ran a good race, but just not good enough.
It's only fine. We had
Elite Army was a good winner.
It's only fine. We had a more than live shout.
Yeah, we did. I thought two furlongs that we were going to win, but
Yeah.
Fallon, a great ride, and the horse didn't even settle, so I'm quite scared about Elite Army and where he's going to go next.
Yeah, he just needs to learn to settle. If it does that, it could do anything, really. It could be anything, absolutely anything. But moving on from Day 3, Day 4 is ahead of us, and we start off with the Albany. It's not a very easy start to the day, but it looks a very strong 2-year-old race. Callum, we're going to come to you first, and your fancy for the Albany.
Tough race. American horse, I think, is very much respected. Patience Alexander as well. Her form has worked out particularly well. I mean, beating Tiggy Wiggy, the only horse to beat Tiggy Wiggy so far since before yesterday. So I think she's got to go in with a chance. The one I'm going to go for at a bigger price is Bitter Lake, trained by Charlie Appleby for Godolphin. Just really impressed by her debut. She quickened like a very, very good filly, and I'm not 100% how much to really trust these Godolphin fillies, but I was really impressed by her, and she's the one for me tomorrow. The other one, Bazana as well, who was really impressive on soft ground last time out. But this is a really good race and not one I really want to have a strong bet in, but Bitter Lake's the choice.
Yeah, it's interesting that she actually won first time out, because Charlie Appleby has been leaving his horses with plenty on them, or especially the 2-year-olds anyway, first time out this season. They've been improving second time.
He didn't expect them. He didn't expect her to win. I remember the post-race interview, and he was like, "I was a bit surprised by that."
Yeah, that's, you can understand that, really, can't you? After all his 2-year-olds are getting beat early on in the season. Michael, your selection for this. I imagine Sexy Legs will feature in our Naughty Luck 15 later on.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a difficult Naughty Lucky 15, but I've tried not to disappoint. Still sticking with Royal Ascot, although there's not so much available today in comparison to a few days ago. There's loads in this. I think Star Spangled Banner has another one, Effusive, who won Amidst Greenness last time at Carlisle. I think that's got a very decent chance. Haggis hasn't had a winner yet this week, I don't think. So maybe bit more pressure on that. Sylvester de Souza keeps the ride. I think Patience Alexander definitely sets the stand and deserves to be favourite with Tiggy Wiggy's form. I think he did that well. I think he's quite similar to the Anthem Alexander that won earlier on in the week, so I wouldn't not be surprised if he went in either. And obviously we've got to respect the Wesley Ward horse. I did ask Candice what she thought, and she said definitely a speedy type, but a lot of the best horses that Wesley Ward sends out should normally win on their debut. So the fact that she didn't win, and the horse that beat her last time out has just lost recently, is a bit of a negative. So, maybe I think Sunset Glow is probably short just because they're worried about another hootenanny, but I think it's a very, very open race, and I think it's a very, very difficult day actually. But if I was looking at it, I think Effusive is a decent price at around about 16-1, but I do think the top two in the market are the most dangerous.
Yes, you have to sort of be respectful of Patience Alexander, obviously beating Tiggy Wiggy at York last time out. But I do think your Naughty Luck 15 horse has got a chance here, Michael, with Sexy Legs. Really nice debut. It was actually engaged in a conditions race that he didn't take up the engagement in, and that was going to be against the Great War. So they obviously think quite a lot of her. But
Is it the fact that you like because she's by Dutch Art?
no, I've literally only just seen that. As you said, Dutch Art, I had to scroll over. Well, it does enhance that, but 11-1, I thought was a really nice debut. She's only going to come on for it, and showed a fantastic attitude that day.
Well, Anthem Alexander actually was behind her that day,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
very interesting.
Yeah, exactly. But they pulled a long way clear of the third and fourth horses. They were strung out that day, and it doesn't look the weakest maiden on paper, does it?
No,
but
no.
I'm very much respectful of Callum's choice, Bitter Lake. If Charlie Appleby's 2-year-olds aren't really firing first time out, but Bitter Lake won, she could just be a lot better than we've seen, especially in this race. Adam, you're the last one to take a bash at this race, so you're selecting me.
Well, I really liked Patience Alexander's win at York, and obviously, as we've all said, that the form has just worked out really well. I mean, Tiggy Wiggy came up, won the national stakes, and then ran a really good race in the Queen Mary. I think she's the one to beat. The other one that interests me at a bigger price is Peace and War, who has been entered up several times this year and has not run on the state of the ground, and then went to Lingfield and won. I wouldn't say it was the most impressive performance I've ever seen, but it was Warfront for me is going to be a really influential star over here, and I just think that she has potential improvement on this ground, and obviously she has a huge reputation. But I think Patience Alexander wins. The one maybe an each way price will be Peace and War.
Yeah. Moving on to the Wolverton, but before we do that, if you've got any questions at home or any fantasies, especially, then we'd love to hear them. Just tweet us or tweet me at LukeAlber13, and we'll try and read them out at the end of the show. But nothing too long, because we all want to go and watch England tonight play Uruguay. But moving on to the Wolverton now, and it's a very, very wide open race. Right at the bottom is the one that's interesting. I know for me and Callum, especially with Cafe Society, who was sold the other day for £330,000, I think it was. And
yeah.
You
Can we
imagine?
make a note? Just the judge is a non-runner. Just to...
Yeah,
So we'll rule that one out. But Cafe Society will more than likely be running down under when we next see him after this. Miss Gay Waterhouse is down as a colours and trainer for tomorrow. And there's a bit of money for Cafe Society, but can you keep doing it to yourself, Callum?
Yeah, probably will. Yeah, he's a very strong travelling horse, and like David Simcox said at the start of this season, that he was a very weak type last year and just wasn't getting home and making Jamie Spencer look like a fool, basically. Didn't start the season particularly brightly, was well backed on debut, thought he was going to win, and then travelled well again, didn't find much, but he was such an easy winner last time out over 12 furlongs. I don't see 10 furlongs being a problem for a horse that travels just so well into his races, and against some pretty regressive or the types or ones that have really found their ceiling, I think he's the one probably to be on. The favourite, I agree with the favourite, Bold Sniper Upton Trip ran a cracker behind Nice of You to Tell Me on fast ground last time, and would really appreciate an extra furlong, and there was very little to split between those two when they ran here back in July last year. So one at a price I like First Mohican, Alan King with Richard Hughes on board, first time blinkers, drop down in trip. I just think will really suit. I don't think he's been getting home over 12 furlongs plus. Didn't get home certainly in the Ralston Road race at York last time. Of 105, I think he's better treated than most. And I just think he's coming back to himself again after a pretty wasted hurdling campaign. So yeah, between those two, I think they're the ones to be on.
With Cafe Society, we'll need a strong pace for the race to almost fall into his hands. First way he can drop down in trip, you'd imagine he'd be handy from a pace angle. Who would you sort of be taking to go forward?
Sonoki and Star instantly came in.
Sonoki and Star's the one that stands out, isn't it?
Yeah, Energizer if he gets lit up again. Fat Soto will go forward, definitely. He's always a front runner. There's enough pace in the race, definitely.
Yeah. So, we just need a breakneck pace, and the ground will definitely be a help for him. So, but Adam, your fancy for the Wolverton?
Callum's mentioned it. It's First Mohican. Richard Hughes on the first time blinkers. The run behind Mount Athos for me, if he can run to that, I think he's got a huge chance. I think he is overpriced in this race. Obviously, you've got to respect Cafe Society. Although I do think it's a slight bit unfair that when he wins, Gay Waterhouse is going to get the prize money for effectively just buying the horse. Then again, you paid enough for it. So Yeah. It seems a bit unfair on David Simcock for training the horse for Royal Ascot and then he's not going to get a share of the prize money. Yeah. I like him run well. I mean, I think he'll do really well in Australia. But yeah, the one for me is First Mohican, and I think he'll win actually. I think it was a win selection.
Wow.
Nice.
Confidence from Adam. Michael, your fancy for Dwarferton.
Oh God, how can you be confident in a race like this when I just had a look? Only one horse has won last time out, and then only I think two others have won in their last 3 runs. So yeah, this is a proper handicap to sink your teeth into, and a lot of these we know a lot about them, and they sometimes they're not always guaranteed to pop up. It could just be whatever's best on the day. I wouldn't be surprised if these horses were to meet 5 times this year and you get 5 different results.
Yeah.
The horse I do like, and I'm surprised Callum hadn't mentioned it actually, is Saxo Jack with the Maidan form. I thought he ran pretty well 2 starts ago when he won, in fact, beating Half a Guinea over the same distance in Maidan, and then he was a good third behind Sanchez, who was second in a Group 1 after that behind Prince Bishop, and then the next race Sanchez was in the World Cup, wasn't he? And he wasn't thoroughly disgraced there. He ran respectably. I think he got messed up in the stall, Sanchez, actually, if I'm correct. I can't remember if it was him or one of the others. So I think Saxo Jack's about 11-1. That's a decent bet, I think. With Kieran Fallon obviously showed his prowess today in the last race. Of the others, the one that popped up, I definitely think Bold Sniper deserves to be favourite.
Yeah.
But Contributor, I thought was also different. Is also interesting. You can forgive his run last time out on desperate ground. That really was horrible. We were there that day, weren't we, Luke? And it was absolutely vile. And he was thrashed by Noble Mission, but Noble Mission had the run of the race and just never really saw a rival. So you can definitely forgive that run. George Baker is aboard. I think he's a decent jockey. So yeah, those would be my 2 against Bold Sniper, but he definitely deserves to be favourite, and I'd have Saxo Jack Contributor as the main dangers.
Yeah, I have to confess, I have been fooled by Cafe Society a few times. Not as many as Callum. I joined that a little bit late, but I probably will have to join in again. Just the ground tomorrow, I think, will be absolutely perfect for Cafe Society. I'm hoping that there's a breakneck pace and the race falls into his lap and he's got no choice but to go past, because he has made his jockeys look foolish on 1 or 2 occasions. But then David Simcock said it's probably not the jockey's fault. It may have just been him. But one that I am interested in is Dick Doughty Wiley, and just for the fact, ever since he's had a tongue tie applied in his last 3 runs, he's come first, fourth, and second. So he takes sort of a stab at a high-class race again with the tongue tie on that seems to have brought about a bit of improvement. I'm going to mention who he was second to last time, and you guys are probably going to give me a bit of abuse.
I was going to say.
Yeah, he was second to Grandier on Champions Day at Linfield, All-Weather Championships Day. But on the base of it, that is decent form. I mean, Grandier is
118,
yeah, around there, and he's rated 102, and he's pushed him to ahead. So on the base of it, that's okay form, and he comes here in good form, unlike a lot of the others in the race. So 8-1, Dick Doughty Wiley could be a decent shout, but
wouldn't put you off.
If Cafe Society sorts it all out, then he could be a much better horse than 98, much better horse. But that is a big if. But moving on out to the King Edward the 7th stakes, the Group 2. Eagle Top was one that sort of, after his debut, got a bit of a big reputation and failed to build on that next time out. But you look through, and those Seagull Star was one that Callum liked a while ago. But then we got the likes of Snow Sky, Adam actually back for the Derby, wasn't it? So
yep.
We'll let you.
Sorry, that's good.
Yeah, we'll let you break down about that one on Snow Sky.
Well, okay. The Tuesday before the Derby, it was I think about midnight, and I was like, right, I need to have an anti-prospect in the Derby. I think Snow Sky's a big price, so I put it on. I wake up Wednesday morning, he's knocked himself. Thursday, he's not entered. So yeah, it was a look of the anti-post, and yeah, if I should have waited a bit longer. Greed got the better of me there. I think he'll win tomorrow. I think the step up now to 1.5 miles around Ascot. I think he would have gone close in the Derby. I don't think he'd have beat Australia, and I think he'd have been a net third. That's where I think he would have been. And against this field, I think he should be winning. So he's the selection. Although I am interested in Western Hymn actually runs in this race as well, which I'm sure Luke will tell you all about. But yeah, Snow Sky for me in this race.
Yeah, Michael?
Actually, I thought it was more of me that was obsessed with Western Hymn for a while. Actually, I know Luke wants to big him up for the later in the season. But earlier on, especially after a Sandown win, I was really impressed on that desperate ground. He really, despite no other winners coming from the back of the field that day, he managed to do it, and it was a decent field. It wasn't beating bins. Couldn't really think of what the phrase is there, so I'm going to go with bins.
Trees.
Trees, that's the one. So I think Western Him's got a really good chance here. Definitely better than that run in the Derby. Track didn't suit him, but he still stayed on quite well actually, and was only 10 lengths behind Australia. Beat quite a few behind. I'm surprised on the William Buick's choice to go for Eagle Top. Maybe he thinks that one's capable of better. I don't think it's derogatory towards Western Him. Richard Hughes takes that ride. That is not a negative whatsoever. He beat Snow Sky last time. I know it's over an extra distance today, but I think he should confirm that actually, especially on this ground. The one that I thought was a nice each-way price, and I was impressed on his return to action, was Odeon, and then he was fourth in the Dante. He ran really well there. I think he should stay. I hope he can stay, and I think he could be an each-way price at about 12 to 1. Of the others, I think you're hoping that the O'Briens have now finally come into form. Oh, and also, on another result, Peter Chappelheim reports that Inchilla should be okay.
Yeah.
Well done to Jamie Spencer for pulling him up. Her.
Yeah. Colts can now come run in the Oaks, can't they?
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Western Him, as Adam said. I despite what Callum will yell at me for, I do think is a ledger type. It's interesting. John Gosden said 10 furlongs might be a stretch. I don't think it will be overly, especially the way it's running on the end of the Derby. He didn't have to run the race in the Derby at all. Got knocked about at the top, coming down Tattenham Corner, got another knock and was sort of shuffled back a few places. So to stay on to be sixth, I think was a decent performance. I'm a bit surprised William Buick has gone for Eagle Top. Maybe that shows how highly they regard him, but Western Him, I don't think. I can't really take Western Him on tomorrow. As long as the Derby hasn't left its mark on him, then he should be thereabouts. And I just want to make one point. I think he is going to be better on a right-handed track. Let's not forget, at Sandown, I was probably most impressed with him. What's that for look for, Adam?
He's going to win the Ledger going left-handed.
Yeah, but we're not talking about the Ledger for tomorrow.
Irish St Ledger then. There you go. Go to the Curragh for the Irish St Ledger. You can run as a 3-year-old and you get a weight allowance. Simple.
Yeah. Well, we'll stick for tomorrow first. We'll get through tomorrow.
That's tax race, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Sorry.
But no, I do think Western Him could be a better horse going right-handed. I remember that gallop he did at Lingfield before the Derby, when he just hung straight in. I don't think left-hand is really for him that much, because I was really impressed with him at Sandown, as Michael said, and I don't really see much past Western Him as long as the Derby hasn't left its mark on him. But that remains to be seen, and we'll only find that out tomorrow. Callum, your thoughts on this race?
Well, I'll start with Western Him, as you've been talking about him, right? I just think he's got too much speed for 12 furlongs to his best trip. That's just my thought on the race. I mean, he used all his class to win at Sandown for me, and to win a 10 furlongs on soft ground is one thing. To win over 12 furlongs is another thing for me.
My argument against that, though, is that it takes a long time to get that speed. He seems to take a lot of winding up. He did it at Kempton first time out. He did it at Newbury the time after. And in a way, he did it at Sandown, although Sandown was horrible conditions, and you can't really take much from that race other than he's a very, very good horse.
I mean, when he beat Snow Sky, I thought he put the race to bed with a real good turn of foot. I think he's got a very good turn of foot. So
I am surprised. I'm surprised that they're pushing him so far. I just think he showed himself that he is good over 10 furlongs. Why not stick there? I don't know why they're looking for further. It is a good question to ask.
Exactly. That's my exact thought on him. I think he's a very talented horse, and I think he could be winning 10 furlong races doing handstands, if I'm totally honest. But over 12 furlongs, I want to be looking elsewhere tomorrow. And I think Snow Sky, the points Adam mentioned, is going to overturn that Newbury form from earlier in the season, where I thought he needed to run more. I think he really enjoys faster ground, and this trip is exactly what he wants. Michael Stout is fantastic in getting these just to consistently improve throughout the season. And, the favourite Adelaide, I think, deserves to be favourite, but has to try faster ground for the first time, and I think it looks pretty vulnerable at his price. Snow Sky's the one to beat for me, so I'll go for him. But I think the Western Him Snow Sky form is the best, without doubt. It's just I think tomorrow Snow Sky's got the advantage in the conditions.
We'll see. We'll see. Moving on now to the fourth race, the Coronation Stakes, and it seems to be a bit more of a rematch from the 1,000 Guineas, although we'll make Callum cry by mentioning Kiyoshi finally gets her seasonal reappearance here. Now, Callum, you were very sweet on Kiyoshi for the 1,000 Guineas. Sweet on her tomorrow?
I'm winning. I'm going to win my money back tomorrow. Yeah, I looked at the race and thought, I mean, when I was looking at the fillies this year, I think the French fillies have been a class above. I mean, Miss France came over and won our Guineas. The French horses just look better over a mile, especially. And although Lightning Thunder, I think, has looked the best thus far, I think she's very vulnerable to something that's just better than her. I think she's just a pretty solid, bordering high Group 2, bordering Group 1 filly. These are her conditions. She'll appreciate these conditions a lot more. My Titania, I couldn't have at all at her price. I think she wants further than this, and I think this is a nice starting point for her. Rosina is the same as Lightning Thunder, and Kiyoshi, by reports, has been really doing well at home. And if she's ready for this, then I think she's got a massive chance tomorrow on ground that she'll absolutely love. Upton Trip, which I think is exactly what she wants too. And I think she just could improve a good deal against the others. Bar that, Let's Talk in Paris, I thought, was a horse I was a big fan of at the start of the season. I think she's got a squeak if she bounces back from a pretty poor run in the French Guineas. But again, that Guineas is a lot stronger than what our one was. And Tapestry maybe could come back to form.
What was said after Tapestry's run last night?
O'Brien said she hadn't trained her right, or hadn't got her right at the right time. I think it's something like that.
2 gallops too many, he said. He said he'd overtrained her.
The one point I would make with Tapestry is that her dam, Rumpelstiltskin, was a very good 2-year-old herself and didn't train on, and that sticks in my mind with her.
Yeah, I remember you making that point. I think on the Guineas video.
Yeah, I did.
Fair enough. Understandable that you're sweet on Kiyoshi. Michael, your fancy for the Coronation?
It's difficult. It's another. I think I was talking to Sean about this, and the fillies have really racked up the races of the days. I think today's Ribblesdale was a real cracker as well. And this is another really tough race. I'm really excited to see my Titania back. Has a very similar profile to See the Stars. Also beat on his debut and then wasn't beat after that, which is very interesting. Gets good ground here, which is See the Stars seems a bit dependent on ground at the moment from what we've been seeing with stuff like Tagruda, etc. And I think my Titania could be a very decent horse. Of the others, I'm sure Luke is definitely going to mention Euro Charlene at some point tonight. But I don't know. I'm really struggling. It's such a good race. I might just watch it. I think my Titania could be a very good horse for the future. But I really don't know where it's going to work out tomorrow.
Yeah, I think we all had not a decent bet, but a small bet at big prices on Euro Charlene for the Guineas, which she ran a more than respectable race in looking at it, didn't she? I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing her in a mile race that's really well run. I just think she might appreciate that a bit more, because in the 1,000 Guineas, I think they didn't go a lightning pace, did they?
No, they didn't.
But I think 12 to 1's an each way price tomorrow. As terms of win prices, actually, Let's Talk in Paris. Callum, wasn't that your bet of the season or something like that?
Yeah, it was, and I was really disappointed with her run.
There was an excuse for that. She was in season that day.
Right, in season. Okay.
Yeah, she was in season.
I mean, if she's back to her normal self, I mean, her form has taken a few knocks, then 14 to 1 is just a massive price.
Yeah. Well, back to Euro Charlene. I do think she'd appreciate a really strong gallop and an end-to-end one, and a boost to see Andrea Atzeni back on board. Nothing against Adam Kirby, but Andrea Atzeni knows the horse much better. Of the rest, Jay Wonder disappointed last time out, but you had to be impressed with her at Newbury the time before. Rosina's probably going to be the forgotten horse, isn't she? She didn't really run her race in the Guineas, but you forgive a horse one chance, and Rosina would probably be my idea of the winner tomorrow. I mean, Euro Charlene at 12 to 1. Fair enough, that's an each way price, but Rosina 6 to 1 could be a very big price in what she showed us as a 2-year-old. As long as you can actually forgive that 1,000 Guineas run, but I don't know. It's a really hard race, probably a no bet race for me, but I think Rosina could take a lot of beating tomorrow. Adam, we haven't spoke to you about this, have we?
No. Well, in the flat preview, I put my Titania up as my filly to follow this year, the 3-year-old filly. I find it interesting that they're actually starting here. I mean, obviously she's had setback. I mean, she missed the Guineas because she stroked badly, missed the Irish Guineas because of the ground. I've got no worries about her first time out. I think she will be ready because they will have had her ready for both the Guineas, and I think she'll be primed for a big race. I mean, a mile may not be her trip, but I think she'll show a really good account, and hopefully she can win. Because if she can win over a mile and she looks better over further, I mean, Stephen Starsman, he came out and won the Guineas over a mile, and then went up to a mile and a half, mile and a quarter. And I hope she can do that tomorrow. I think she's the one to beat. Euro Charlene is also another one that I quite like in each way price, but also at a big price. I'm surprised nobody mentioned Lucky Cristal. I know that in the Guineas she failed to settle, but if she settles tomorrow and sees the trip out, she could look a really big price at 16.
I just find it hard to take her as a miler. I think.
Yeah.
I can see that point. Yeah.
I think after tomorrow she'll go back to sprinting.
Yeah. But if she does settle and sees the trip out, I think 16-1 is pretty insulting on a horse that was well fancied for the Guineas.
I think I'd want a bit more than 16-1 after what she showed last time.
I also respect, as Callum said about Let's Talk in Paris. I agree with them sentiments that 14-1 is a huge price. If she is back in the form she was earlier in the season, anyway. So, but yeah, my Titania is the one for me, and hopefully she can go on to bigger and better things after this.
Yeah, well, we move on to the Queen's Vase. That Leading Light actually won last year, and Marzocco is going to be the market leader by the look of it. And I'm quite keen on Marzocco, actually. Any of you also taken with the favourite?
No.
No, that is a no. Apparently,
I like the favourite. I do like the favourite. I thought the form with Observational will look pretty strong by the end of the year, and Marzocco looks an ideal ledger type. But it's between him and Hartnell for me. I know that they're both ahead of the market, but Hartnell, for a long time, I thought could be potentially a very good stayer. And up to this trip, I think he's got the edge. And I mean, what's 9-2, 5-2? So I mean, he's nearly double the price. So I would go for Hartnell over the two, but they're clear by some way the best. I mean, there's some pretty poor horses in this, if I'm totally honest.
You stopped yourself from saying something.
Yeah.
So absolute, not very good horses.
No.
But I remember seeing Marzocco at Epsom in the Derby trial, and he was fancied that day. And I just remember looking at him thinking that he's going to make an awesome stayer. And the fact that they've gone straight to 2 miles now with him, I think that says a lot. And Callum mentioned that form of Observational. Observational was a horse that a lot of people hold very highly, and is one that a lot of people actually wanted in the Derby as well. But for me, Marzocco, I think, will take a lot of beating tomorrow, and the fact that there's a bit of money around for him as well, from 5-2 into 9-4. Obviously not much, but I imagine there'll be more tomorrow. And I'm pretty keen on Marzocco for tomorrow. But Michael, you seem to disagree with me a little bit on that one.
Well, I must admit, I think this is probably. I always think this is the most difficult, like probably worst race of the week in some ways. None of the horses have ever been up to 2 miles before. You're completely guessing on that. I've been looking at a lot of their pedigrees to see if there's any clues there. Hartnell, there's obviously Authorised, which is your best hope really. Debonair, the dam there's not much there from what I had a look at. You know, you're not going over further than 10 furlongs. I can't really imagine Hartnell's going to be relying on her to show the stamina required. Then you've obviously got a load of what Callum has referred to not good horses. I'd probably say Drosh. I think Marzocco, yeah, is definitely shaped like a stayer. Of the others, I think maybe you could give a squeak to the Marco Botti horse Mint Alamera. I think he's slightly one-paced when he won last time out, so I think he could deal with the extra distance. That would be my one at a bit of a bigger price. Well, he's only 7-1, fourth favourite. And I think Montali maybe, by Yates, should stay out the trip. And he's got some okay form as well, but I'm really underwhelmed by this race. And it's not very good. The only time you ever really want to get involved is when Estimate won it a couple of years back.
Or Leading Light last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was only Leading Light, wasn't it? There wasn't anything else in there.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, both of those have won it, but the rest of the horses in behind have done nothing in both instances.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. I don't know where Feel Like Dancing is from the second last year.
Yeah, Feel Like Dancing was actually one of my stairs to follow, and I don't know what's happened to Feel Like Dancing. Has anyone
Maybe
actually?
he's gone to maybe he's gone to stud because I remember I know Lady Bamford and I don't know. We'll find out probably by the end of the year.
Yeah. So we move on to the last race, the Buckingham Palace. And if you didn't catch it beforehand, just before the video, me and Adam did a quick chat and interview with Martin Smith about Hillbilly Boy, and this obviously it's one that we followed very closely, with Martin being an active member of On the Other Hoof. He's got a chance tomorrow, hasn't he, Hillbilly Boy? Albeit we probably prefer a bit softer ground, but we're talking to Martin. He said he's got a decent chance. The ground isn't really a problem for him. The draw isn't really a problem. Sort of, there's a lot of things in his favour, and he's a horse that's very much in form. He hasn't run a bad race yet this year.
He looks a really big price. He's 22 is the biggest I can see, and I think that's an insulting price for the way he won at Newmarket last time out. We were all really impressed with him that day, and I mean, the winner
it was very hard not to be.
It was very hard not to be impressed. I mean, it was a great success in more ways than one, but I think he could run a huge race tomorrow. And the thing is, as well, as Martin said, there are horses around him that have got plenty of speed, and he doesn't have to go from the front. I think, and he's not worried about the ground. I think he could run a huge race here. I really do. I mean, my main worry for me is Blessington, who obviously beat Hillbilly Boy in that 6 furlong handicap at Ascot, and he is drawn towards the near side in 27. That, for me, is the main danger in this race. But yeah, Hillbilly Boy each way, for me, I think is a stonking good price.
I think one of the dangers of, to Hillbilly Boy is in himself. He just doesn't run a bad race. He's improved £27 this season. He's up to 97 now. Martin got him when he was rated 70. 97 is a very high handicap mark for a horse that was, well, with a separate trainer, albeit struggling off lower marks than 70. But I don't know. His run last time didn't suggest like he was anywhere near the handicap of getting him, did it? Yeah. But I don't know. Yes, but enough about Hillbilly Boy. We spoke about him in depth in the video before. Dangers to him. There's enough of them, isn't there? I imagine this is the kind of race that Michael would have been licking his lips at.
Well, I was, and then I haven't really actually managed to narrow down my selection. It's been really difficult. I really want Hillbilly Boy to run a good race, and I think he will. I think he's obviously very consistent and should run really well. Of the dangers, I think Blaine could be on his way back to form this season. Won the Gym Crack as a 2-year-old, and then has slowly eased his way back in recently. He was third, 1.5 lengths third behind Etna. That was on soft ground. I think he should go well. You know, he won the Gym Cracker on good ground, so that shouldn't be a problem. I'm sure we'll hear. Will we hear about Jack's Revenge later on, Luke?
Can't do it.
I think Watchable's probably one of the unexposed horses of the field, and should stay 7 furlongs. He's run well on soft over 6 furlongs. I should expect him to run well over 7. And the other one, I just need to be more convinced by Bronze Angel's finishing effort, but I do like Bronze Angel. Won the Cambridge a couple of years back, although I did call it the Cesarewitch, I think, when I was doing the preview last time.
Close. They are very similar races.
Yeah, they both begin with C, and they ran at Newmarket.
And
they both are 36 runners. There we go.
There we go. Otherwise, I just don't know which one I'd pick over all of them. I think tomorrow I think is a very difficult day, and I will just be having small stakes on all of them. But obviously cheering home Hillbilly Boy. I think out of all of them, I think Blaine's could be the most dangerous, but I'm just worried that he hasn't quite returned to his best yet.
Yeah, I could agree with that. One I liked last time out, I think it was in the Victoria Cup, was Pastoral Player, who was about 20 to 1. The worry that day was, I know Callum's going to yell at me for this, but the worry that day was the ground. But he still ran a really good race to finish 6th. That was seasonal reappearance. He's now got the fitness edge on his side. That's no worry. The ground will be no problem because he likes it rattling fast. He's down to a mark of 99, which is more than winnable. He's one off higher than that before. And last season he was probably unlucky in a few Group 3, Group 2 races. So if he runs to that kind of form again, he could well take a lot of beating tomorrow. But as we mentioned about Hillbilly Boy, he's got a fantastic chance. You'd love him to win, wouldn't you? And one more at a price would be Louis the Pious at 33 to 1, who hasn't really done a lot wrong this season. There's broke mine and Michael's heart when just didn't get up in the Scoop 6 and we were still going in the second leg. But no, for me, I think Pastoral Player's got a big chance, about 22 to 1. I think it's a fair price. And a little word on Jack's Revenge. I just can't do it anymore. I've tried.
Can I just add something there? I'm not following Heaven's Guest off a cliff.
No. I think me and Adam are taking some big steps tomorrow.
Yeah, I should have done with Red Avenger in the hunt cut. I should have, but no.
As Callum, I think you've had the Jack's Revenge problem before as well.
Yeah, 7 furlongs on soft ground. I'm always a sucker for Jack's Revenge, and there's a huge bee trying to fly.
I wondered what you were looking at.
Yeah, it's really it's huge. Right. Yeah, this is a really good race. I think the first two at least in the market, Horse Keynes and Russian Ram, I think are opposable on a price basis. Blessington, Hillbilly Boy form, won't touch on Hillbilly Boy much, even though, I mean, 7 furlongs is his trip, without doubt. If it was softer ground, I'd be all over him. Blessington, Upton trip, was really impressive that day, and he's a real quirky character, but if he can improve again for 7 furlongs and build on that performance, then he's the one to beat for me tomorrow. Watchable, Upton trip again is interesting. Santa Fizio running the Hunt Cup the other day, I think he could run well at a price, because I think that was a prep run. Go away, B.
He did the same last year, actually.
Yeah, he did, but he ran a little bit better in the Hunt Cup, so that's the only thing that's put me off. I agree with Michael Blaine. I think I wrote down that he wants fast ground, and when he does get it, he's got a chance. But draw 1, and also the trip was a little bit of a worry. The one, my main fancy for the race, actually, at a big price, is a horse called Georgian Bay, trained by Carl Burke. Really impressed when he beat Glenn Moss at Kempton, travelled really well, first time visor, off 93, that was in April. He then ran in the Victoria Cup last time, was on the wrong side, finished second at 9 in his group. I think everything's set for a big run tomorrow off 99. I think that's not the end of his winning, and 28 to 1's a bit of a joker price, to be honest. So yeah, Georgian Bay for me, out of them.
Yeah, and that would wrap up our video, wouldn't it? Adam, you spoke about this race yet?
Yeah, I did, yeah. By the way, I didn't speak about the Queen's Vase, but quickly, Monteley each way for me, just because of he looks one of the only horses in the race that will probably stay, for me.
Did I forget to ask you about that race?
Yes, you did. I didn't mind, actually. I don't mind, because it was a race I didn't really have an angle on. It's just one of them I looked at and just thought...
I don't think any of us did, to be honest. But we've made good time. It's 7:48 at the moment, and England kick off in about 12 minutes, so...
Yeah.
We'll be,
questions?
Yeah,
we haven't got many.
We'll be using the awareness. We've got a few questions, yes. We got Kieran from Monkey Tips giving an update on Inchilla, although I think Michael did that.
Yeah, it's fine, which is the main thing.
Inchilla is the problem with the pelvis, but the next looks to be okay at the moment, but the next few days are crucial, he says, so thank you for that, Kieran. And he's also said that Western Hymn back on a flat track, and how interesting is Santa Fizio after a Hunt Cup like last year, and also the American horse in the first. Callum, you mentioned Santa Fizio to me on Wednesday, yesterday, didn't you? You thought
I said exactly the same. I thought this was a prep run for this race. I mean, 7 furlongs has always been his trip, so he's interesting.
Yeah. Jeff Handley's also got in touch. Thank you, Jeff. He started out with wise words. It looks tough tomorrow. I think Michael's uttered them words a few times in this video, but for him, the best bet is Marzocco. You're not wrong there, Jeff. I think that's going to be mine after the day as well. Not suited by the run of the race last time out. And he agrees with Callum in the last on Georgian Bay at 28 to 1. Ran a fair race over course and distance and a poor draw last time. So pretty much uttering what Callum said about the same horse. But Michael, you said you had a tricky naughty luck 15 for us.
Yeah, it's not been the best today. I was a bit stuck. Nothing like the gold I had on Wednesday, I think it was. So we got Sexy Legs in the first, obviously. Luke thinks that one's got a decent chance. Then we go to Italy for Dylan Mouth. I wonder what goes on in there. Loving Your Work in the Queen's Vase, which I don't know, I just found that really, really funny, especially if you're a prostitute. And One Word More, I'm looking forward to Simon Holt screaming that one home.
One word more?
I think you've outdone yourself again, Michael.
Nice. Out of a difficult lot, anyway. So I've had to force it.
If Loving Your Work rated 66 wins tomorrow, and anybody has actually had this naughty lucky 15 and puts it on, well done.
Yeah. I think
quickly before we go, I've got 2 small points. Phil Dinsdale said Hartnell all the way, and Jackie Kingdom asked, I trust there's going to be a preview of the market raising bumper. I had a quick look at it, and Chili misses in again, but she's got to defy a penalty. Well, she's only horse that's won in the race. I hope she wins for you again.
Yes, don't we all? Quickly before we go, naps for tomorrow. It's a very hard day. I've revealed mine by saying Marzocco in the Queen's Vase. Callum, your nap?
Snow Sky.
Oh, God.
Adam, have you gone for Snow Sky as well?
Yes. Oh, no.
Wait, Michael, Michael, we have a chance to make history here.
I'm not napping Marzocco.
No!
It's really difficult, actually, and I may... I don't know. I'm going to go... we'll go Saxo Jack each way.
Michael, you've let us down. You had a chance to make history then.
Sorry, I can't.
Sorry
I can't.
about
I'm not
that today,
interested in it.
Well,
Congratulate the first 2.
Thank you very much for watching. We'll let you go and watch the England game now. Don't forget, if you've got any questions for tomorrow's racing at Ascot, leave them in the comments box below. You can also subscribe to us when you get all of our videos live on your YouTube feed. And I can see the England players sort of getting ready to come out there. So we'll let you all go. From everyone here at On Your Move, thank you very much for watching. Have a good day and goodbye.